number one skill in the world. What skill do you want to learn that will give you more money, more confidence, more happiness, more freedom, more love, and better relationships? And it keeps giving you more of everything good. By skill, I mean a learnable thing that you can start to learn today and right now and become skillful at. The more you learn, the more you earn. This skill that I'm talking about is the number one skill in the world. And every single human being should start putting all their effort and focus on this skill immediately, because it will unleash your true creative power to create whatever you can imagine. It will give you almost superhuman powers, and you can do extraordinary things. It will open doors for you to places you didn't even know exist. This is what happened to me when I started consciously learning this skill about a decade ago, and I'm still learning a lot. But I have to say that I started from a very low level of this skill. And what I learned about this is that we all have our own base level where we are at the moment. And some of us are almost born with this skill. And maybe you are one. Some of us, like me, have to learn everything from the bottom. Almost like from a negative scale to become at least good. The good thing is that no matter where you are, you can still become better. And the better you become, the more you are going to enjoy your life. All the most successful people know this skill very well and use it to create amazing opportunities and success wherever they are. Some of them don't even know that it is this skill that makes them have such massive success. There are a lot of books about this skill, and many focus on teaching this skill, and I am one of them as well. I have asked myself, if there is only one skill you could master in this lifetime, what would it be? And no matter how many times I think about this, I always come to this one skill. But this one skill is actually a range of different skills when you start to see it as a whole. We all are seeking control in life. And of course, it is a good thing when you can control life to go as you want. Because if it goes the way you don't want, you just end up doing things you don't like to do. And maybe never get to do the things you want. It is like telling my body to go somewhere, but it goes somewhere completely different. Maybe the hand slaps me on the face instead of waving to say hello to my friend. That would be an odd way to say hello. My friend would ask, "What's with you?" And I would suddenly shout to him instead of talking normally. "I'm okay. Thanks for asking." And then my body would run away. Well, actually, this is not so different from what is happening in most persons' thoughts. Now, this may not happen physically. At least many of us have somehow learned to control our bodies. But what happens in their minds and how they feel is completely different from how they act, do, and express. There are many skills you can learn in this lifetime, like playing some musical instrument or singing, learning to speak different languages, learning math, engineering, physics, or what about learning the language of money? and becoming a business person. But what skill could be the number one? That becomes the ultimate skill of all. The skill that controls all the other skills and gives you an almost unfair advantage. I will reveal the word of this skill in a moment. But knowing the word is not knowing what it actually means and how it can enhance all the other skills, because this skill is the parent skill of all. It is like the meta skill of all skills. It's the same as when you want to learn a skill. The better you are at learning, the faster you can learn any skill, right? Did you get it? Learning to learn is a skill as well. And that is kind of a meta skill, because if you first learn how to learn and you become really good at learning, it will massively affect whatever you do in your life. But this is not the skill I'm talking about. Not the ultimate skill that I'm revealing here. It's even greater than learning how to learn. Learning how to learn actually goes within this particular skill that is the mother, the father of all skills. Now, are you ready for the word that has everything in it? Even enlightenment is just a word. And without this skill, there would not be such a thing as enlightenment. So it holds the highest achievements inside, which means that by mastering this skill, you can have, be, and do whatever you want. And do not get distracted by the common first impression, because this skill is as vast as you can ever imagine. By the way, I have divided this skill into 4 different levels so that it would be easier to understand and learn level by level. Although every level is interlaced with each other and they can be controlled in a harmonized, cooperative, aligned way to make the skill most impactful. And I would even argue that if these 4 levels are not aligned, it is the main reason for your suffering or for you not getting things to happen as you would like in the fastest way possible. I also write and teach these 4 levels in much greater manner in my book, The Intention Game. Get what you intend, which is found on Amazon and actually in over 35,000 stores all across the world. But the absolutely best way to get your hands on the book is through its own website, www.theintentiongame.com, because it is the only place where you can get good bonus and access to a special learning platform and get it for half the price of a physical copy. Also, you are guided into deeper teachings through there. I unpack the 4 levels there in a great way that I cannot do here, because it would take us hours and hours to deep dive into these. And actually there is a 5th level as well, which is intention. But intention is combined through these 4 levels. So you know how to set intentions to get what you want and intend in life. The skill that we are talking about is, finally, someone said, the skill that we are talking about is a word called communication. But what it actually means is different than you might think. First, we have to understand that communication happens on 4 different levels, and we have to understand what is the main purpose of communication. In its simplest form, it is to send a message and get an outcome. And the most beautiful way you can understand it is communication is like a commune. And a commune is a group of people living together and sharing possessions and responsibilities. They all work together for a common goal. And by common, did you know that one definition of the word common means to share? And communing means to share one's intimate thoughts or feelings with someone, especially on a spiritual level. Now, sharing is caring if we share good things and good intentions. But if someone shares bad intentions or negative feelings, that's poor communication. This kind of communication will keep that kind of person poor. The richer your level of communication skill becomes, the richer your world becomes. And it can be used in many, many ways. Basically, if we go a little bit back, good communication is sending a message and getting a response. And communication happens in every way possible. One simple form of communication is when you want to lift your arm up. It will rise and stop where you want, or move a finger, or whatever. There is so much happening even before you see the physical movement that you cannot perceive. There are so many things that have to happen. So many muscles have to move in perfect coordination, and so many nerves that move the muscles, and even beyond that, a thought or urge to make that move has to happen. Million things happen all the time just to get a simple outcome like moving the body in any way. Even just to use your imagination has so many elements that need to communicate with each other to make you see things in your mind's eye. And I have had many clients who said that they cannot see their thoughts. And actually, some of them didn't even know that it is possible. Some thought that they just weren't visual people, and this is why they can't see them. But I have a simple process that fixes it. Although there can be a person who is born blind and has to do something else than the usual process to see again with the mind. But let's get back on track and back to the subject, which is this skill of communication. If you look at the most successful people, they usually are in some kind of communication business, using their mind and words to lead and influence. But what else is included in communication? What are the four main levels you want to master in your life? Level 1 is your thoughts. And this is almost the most important level that will highly affect everything in life. I don't even have to point out how big of an issue mental illness has become. When you master your thoughts, your mental well-being becomes a pleasant place to hang out. Your worries about tomorrow vanish, and suffering from the past transforms in the most beautiful ways you couldn't even imagine. Your whole presence becomes a blissful garden full of dance and joy. Your thoughts become your food that nourishes the whole body when you master this level. Your creativity enhances, and the world you live in starts to remind you of a fantasy movie. On so many levels, you want to learn how to think, and almost no one really teaches this skill, at least not in schools yet, because this is one of my visions slow that is slowly becoming true. That we teach our children to keep enhancing their imagination in every way possible. If you think that you are not good in arts, your artistic capabilities rise to the roof when you unleash the power of imagination. Your mathematical capabilities will greatly enhance when you learn different ways to think and control your thoughts. It is not even about controlling thoughts. That is not the only thing you want to learn, but constructing your thoughts in a way that builds cloud castles in your mind. The construct you need to understand the different elements of thought. This is not something I can do over here, but you will find everything you need in the book or in my course, which is over 21 weeks of online learning for those who really want to master their life into new heights. Maybe I will put the link somewhere in the description for you who are interested. And even when you go and buy the book from the website, you will get the opportunity to learn about the course right after that. The second level of communication is feelings and emotions. Can you feel good now? Are you waking up feeling blessed and tap dancing into work? Are you walking on the streets like you own it or like it is the most wonderful, amazing day in the world? How can you mix the chemistry in your body in such a way that you feel absolutely amazing? I don't even have to say how important this level is to master because at the end, what else really matters? No matter what you have done or achieved, who you are or how people think of you, if you don't feel good about your life, so what? And on the other hand, even if you wouldn't have known anything or done anything at all, but just felt amazing your whole life, you would say this was a good life because I just felt good all the time. I felt so good. Feeling good is more important than any other success or thing you do or achieve. You know, I don't believe in sacrifices. One time I believed in them, that if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I have to sacrifice my time and energy. And I did for many years, too many years, and ended up with nothing more than hatred and frustration. The meaning of sacrifice is that you give something valuable and get nothing back. Actually, it is a lose-lose. Stay away from sacrifices. Step into investment. And remember, words are more powerful than you think. So I say this again. Remove all the sacrifices, even the word if you have to, from your life and replace it with investment. Become an investor of your life, or like I used to call myself, a lifestyle investor. Whatever you think and do, think from the place of investment. This food makes me feel good, and the feeling good keeps me going and spreading happiness as I go. This is my permission slip to eat candy, ice cream, and pizza, by the way. There is no such thing as bad or good in this life, other than how we feel about things. And in most cases, how we feel about things depends on how we think about things. We are literally creating the good and bad into this world through our words, which, by the way, is the third level of communication. Words have a massive impact on our lives. And there is a reason why it is called spelling. Because when you learn the magic of words, magical things start to happen. Things you can't necessarily explain by logic. Things that just happen because you know how to use the right words in the right way. Actually, it is almost more important how you use the words you use, which I will also go through in my book and online course in great depth. When I studied to become an international hypnotist and traveled across the world, from Finland to the United States and from Finland to England, just to spend weeks or days or weekends with the world's greatest hypnotists, so that I could learn the magic of words. I even actually studied real magic because I saw what is possible. And what is possible is something much more than you might think. Your words matter. And your words create matter. Actually, I always say that if you want to change the world, change the words. Change the word you are spelling, and your spells start to create what you want. The easiest way to put this is, imagine that you are the almighty creator who doesn't have to do anything. And to create things alive, you use your words. So just say the things you want and only the things you want to see, hear, feel, and experience. This is why I said, remove the word sacrifice, because that is not what you want. I only use it when I teach, and maybe I can forget that as well, and just say what I want. Here is another golden nugget for you. Only ask questions that you really, really want answers to. So in other words, you first have to think of the answer you want and then ask the question, you see? There is a saying that I love in the Bible. I say to my people that they can have whatever they say, but they still keep saying what they have. Now, if you completely believed that you can have everything you say, what would you say? And also, if you believed that every question of yours, every prayer of yours gets answered, what would you ask and how would you pray? Now, the fourth level of communication is action, doing, movement of your body, the control of your body, and aligning your body with these three levels of communication will align yourself with the whole universe. Your body becomes the ultimate magic wand that you can use through communication. There is so much to master at this level as well. The obvious movements like strength, endurance, flexibility are only small aspects of the body. There are many more micro movements, like the micro expressions on your face, that can be a whole new field to understand and learn. Learning to enhance all of your five main senses is something that I highly recommend doing. Learning how to breathe and what you can do with your breath. Learning how different postures affect the chemistry inside your body and release certain hormones you can benefit from. Learning to move effortlessly. Learning to play with your body. And as I said, most importantly, learning how to align your body with these other levels will set you free to be who you are. And who you are is another discussion. But let's just put it in simple terms. You are the creator of your own reality. Create with love and spread more kindness, more health, more wealth, and happiness to this world of ours that we share. Stay healthy and wealthy. And remember to subscribe. There's a lot to come, my friend.